Vu. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
Doing really well. So my name's Grace. This is Cam. We're part of the public relations team at SocietyROW. We're super excited to have you on our podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us. You are actually our first interviewee, which is super exciting. So we're going to be asking you some personal questions about your brand and your creative process to get to know you and Reiss Le Vú better. The team at SocietyROW loved your work and your brand. So again, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Of course, no problem.
So we'll just jump right into it then. So the first question we have is, when you were first starting to develop and grow your brand, what was one of the biggest setbacks you had?
Well, I actually started as a stylist. And when I started out, like just getting clients was difficult. We'll get into it later, but I actually changed. I started using Reiss Le Vu as my stylist name in order to lure in more clients. And it worked.
That's so cool.
But it was really difficult, just like getting clients and like creating a team of people that were reliable, had the same work ethic, same morals and values when it came to aesthetic, just like making things happen. So I feel like that was something that was difficult when I first started.
So what or who in your life influenced you to create the way you do?
Well, I feel like the reason why I'm in the fashion industry is more so because of my mom. Like my mom, when I was younger, she was a buyer for Saks Fifth Avenue, and Saks was like, to me, at least to me, like as a kid, I was like, oh my God, Mom, we're going to Saks. Wait to like bring your daughter to work day. I looked forward to that day every year because it was like Christmas to me. Tell me stuff like her when something didn't like sell, her I guess boss would like throw shoes at the people it's not selling at. My mom was like, oh nah, we can't do that.
Yeah,
no. I definitely think she has influenced why I'm in the industry for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then did you receive a lot of support when you first decided to create your company brand?
So from my family for sure, like my family's very supportive. I'm seeing now how much I wasn't supported when I first started out, but I was so young. I was like 19, 20 starting out, and like your friends are kind of like, oh, you're a stylist, okay, that's cool, whatever, who cares, you know. But now as a designer and like there's something tangible that people can purchase from me, my friends definitely try to support me in any way possible. Like I appreciate little things as small as a repost or a tag, or oh yeah, my friend makes this, like, you know, simple things like that. But I'll definitely say when I was younger, like it was only my family who really supported me.
Yeah,
right, absolutely. And I think that's something that's really special about like the way that Park works at SocietyROW, is that he really loves working with like the smaller brands, like, or not even smaller brands, just brands that like know that they're going to appreciate like that when we reach out to them, that we want to work with them, and kind of vice versa as well. You know what I mean? Like it's good to have those kind of relationships instead of just being like, oh, I want the next, you know, I want to be the next big thing, or, you know, like reaching for, you know, too far. And I think that it's really nice to have like maintaining really good relationships with designers and like with friends too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think just with even smaller brands, like I am a very extremely small brand. This actually when I really started making things, it really was just a hobby, and it started out being a therapy for me, like completely just therapy. And the I guess the relationships I've been able to build with my Instagram, and I really don't even post like that because I have no patience for Instagram or any of those things. But when people reach out to me, especially like, you know, boutique like companies like such as, you know, SocietyROW, I really appreciate that. And I feel like people who start to feel themselves, they're like, oh, whatever, I don't really care. But they don't realize that those smaller steps get you to where you could be later on. About really cultivating a authentic relationship with people, not like surface level, like, oh, we're just reaching out to you because you have 3 million followers and da 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 da. It's more so about, at least for me, if I'm going to be like doing something like this, it needs to be with a company and a brand that I believe in, and they also believe in me, and just we have an authentic underlying understanding of what we're trying to do, and it just has to make sense.
Absolutely, yeah. And it also definitely, like, especially with social media and everything kind of being based around social media, and you know, you can tell when brands are being insincere and they're like, oh, follow for a follow, or you know, like 10 of my photos, I'll like 100 of yours, or whatever. You know, like that's not what, you know, maintaining, creating relationships with other people is about, especially in an industry where creativity is so important and being ambitious in that is so important. Yeah.
Being authentic is like the big thing about like having like a brand, especially like Reiss Le Vú, is like you put so much authenticity, and like we can tell by your Instagram and how your website's set up and everything that you put so much thought into like the details of it. And that's like a big thing that a lot of industries like forget.
Don't make me blush.
So I was gonna ask, so what was like something that surprised you when you first started out like making Reiss Le Vú?
So I gotta like, I remember, I don't know if you guys know what Model Mayhem is.
Sorry?
Do you know what Model Mayhem, the website, is?
No.
Okay, so Model Mayhem is like something that I would use, like I started using years ago. And it's pretty much where creatives come together. It's like a little community online where there's photographers, there's makeup artists, hairstylists, models, anything that you need for a photo shoot. You can go there, connect with people, create a team, and it's just like really easy to create a team. So I had my portfolio on there. I had like done a little photo shoot, a better photo shoot with a more recognized photographer, and I ended up from my portfolio, this really big company reached out to me and was like, hey, we love your portfolio. We would love for you to like do like a commercial for us. You want little old me? And at this time, I'm like 19 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do not know what to do with a commercial. Like it was like this new, it was a new technology where when you go into the fitting room, you can virtually try on your clothes, and also it's like a mirror, but like you can see yourself from 360 all around. So they wanted me to like style all of the models, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like this is and I wish I would have taken the gig, because it was such a big gig and it was really important. And I ended up seeing like the 360 mirrors like all over Manhattan. I was just like, oh my gosh, I could have stopped. But I was like super surprised that a company had seen a little Model Mayhem portfolio and was like, oh, we want her. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really started to say, like, you have a gift. You know what you're doing. Just any opportunity that falls into your lap, say yes. So I started saying yes to everything.
I think that's a really great kind of outlook to have too. And it's kind of good that you had that opportunity and you know, like made that mistake when you were younger, and that, you know, from moving forward, that probably helped you, you know, further your brand, make more connections, you know, really know kind of what to do in the area for sure. So what do you think is most important when you collaborate with like another brand or artist? You talk about like when you're creating your team, you really need to make sure people have the same work ethic, you know, similar attitude, kind of those things.
I definitely, like I said before, everything must be authentic. I'm very much so, I'm at an age where anything that feels forced, anything that feels inauthentic, anything that doesn't feel right, I have no patience for it. So I see that in business as well. Like, I do not have patience for anything that doesn't feel natural, because normally if it doesn't feel natural, you're not supposed to be doing it. It shouldn't be a course of, it shouldn't be in your journey. Or maybe it is supposed to be in your journey because it's a little uncomfortable, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm going to collaborate with a company or a business, it needs to feel authentic and it needs to feel right.
Absolutely. So when you think of your happy place, where are you and why?
I am in the sun somewhere. Like, literally, I went, for the last 2 weeks, I've been like boating, and like I've fallen in love with boats. Like, my brother, he's like a fisher, like he loves fishing. He just started like a fishing blog. And like my mom, like one of her friends has like 4 boats. So we were on a boat last week, and then me and my boyfriend, we were on a boat this week. And I'm just falling in love with boats, and I love the sun. So my happy place is somewhere in the sun on a boat in the middle of the ocean or water somewhere.
Would you say that you think the best when it's sunny outside, or like do you think it's like easier to think when it's raining outside? Because I know like sometimes weather can like really change on how you design and how you create. So
it absolutely can. And because like my body actually, like, I have like metal rods in my body and in my legs, and there are some days that I just need to do nothing because I'm overworking my body and like, I'm just doing too much. So there are days where I'm more productive if I need a day like that. But also there's days where I'm not so productive on sunny days because I'm like, work, you're funny. But I'm definitely, for sure, like, if I'd have to pick one, I would definitely say I'm more productive on a sunny day.
Okay, for
Something
sure.
about the sun that I just feed off of.
Yeah, so when you do have those days where you're like, work, who is she? And you have like these mental roadblocks, like how do you like get out of a mental roadblock?
I actually have mental roadblocks often. I look to experiences to inspire me, like whether it's something, the political climate, whether it's how I'm feeling. Like, I know in May, I like everyone else, like we've been in the house for so long. We've just been dealing with a lot emotionally, and with idle time, I feel like idle time can be very dangerous. And it affects your mental a lot. So I don't know if you guys know this, but May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So because I have been feeling so many different things and I've been talking to so many different people, I was inspired to make t-shirts that pretty much made it okay to say I'm not okay. Like, one of my shirts said, what did it say? Mentally, are you okay? Like, one of my shirts literally said, mentally, are you okay? So I was like inspired by, by pretty much what everybody was going through. And like another one said, please don't talk to me because I have anxiety. So sometimes I'm just inspired by how I'm feeling and like what I'm, the conversations that I have with people, because I often have conversations with people to get me going again. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I want to make. And it's okay to feel that way as a creative. And we feel like if we're not creating, we're not doing anything. But when we're not creating, you could just be being, existing, and that can inspire you on its own.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that you're starting the dialogue of that mental health, because it's seriously something that's like so under talked about. And I think that it's incredible that you're using your platform to make sure that these things are being talked about in like a fashionable way, like a way that people are like, let's talk about it because this shirt is cool. And like, I'm making fashion is not only going to be like a statement, but a conversation. You know what I mean? And I think that's like a really good thing. And I also really liked your manifest your reality.
So that's That's my like favorite shirt to wear.
Yeah. So like, what like with the message of manifest your reality, like how did you come up with that? Like how were you thinking of like making this shirt? And how do you use it?
I was in a place where I was just going through so many life transitions, and my mom is like, she's like, I love her. She's like my biggest fan, and I'm like her biggest fan. Like I just, so she's very like spiritual, and that has kind of like trickled down into me. And we just like, we read a lot of like books on manifestation and the power in it, and you know, just like creating the life that you want. Like I would say things to her like, oh mommy, I want this house, and she'd be like, oh, you want this house? Okay, go look at the house, envision yourself in the house, say like, oh, like really embody and envision yourself somewhere. Like I have a wall of intentions, and I write down my intentions for the month or for the week or whatever, however long I feel like they need to be on my wall. And that's how I manifest these things into my life. I've manifested a new home into my life. I've manifested connections with people. I've manifested my perfect man.
Yes, I love that.
I just think that there's a power in it, and people, I don't think that everyone has really like tapped into it. I think our generation is getting more into like our abilities as people. Like I feel like we have power. Like we really do have power. Like we are energy. So with that, I was just like, you know what, I really just want people to know that wherever you are in your life right now, it may not be ideal. A lot of us have lost our jobs. We have, you know, lost loved ones. We have lost so much, but don't allow that to stop you from manifesting a new chapter in your life.
So now we have like kind of some more specific questions about like Reiss Le Vu and the brand. So how did your time at FIT kind of help you learn to style and have that intention with Reiss Le Vu afterwards?
So I think with style, you either have it or you don't. I don't really think that's something that can be like taught per se. So I wouldn't say it helped me with styling. I think it has helped me with actually making my garments. Like, so I went to FIT for production management, and a lot of people don't really know what production management is. It's pretty much learning how to start and finish something. So in my case, garments, but it can literally be applied to anything. I actually even learned a little bit about engineering. Like in one of my classes, we had to learn how to literally design a factory from start to finish. Like how many, you know, sewing machines a factory needs, where they need to go, all those things. But it's definitely taught me how to make things from start to finish. Like I didn't know how to sew before. Well, actually, I started learning how to sew. I started learning how to sew a little bit before I went to FIT, but it taught me different sewing machines do different things. Different stitches make the quality of your garment more expensive, more durable. You know, the kinds of fabrics that you use. It taught me a lot about the fundamentals that I don't think a lot of people think about. I also learned how to pattern make. I did not know how to make patterns from scratch. I didn't even know what a pattern was before I went to FIT. And now I can make a lot of different patterns from scratch. And I think that has, well, I think in the future, it will be one way where I can differentiate my brand from others. Because that's something that I'm physically able to do. I'm actually working with a young designer now. He knows nothing about the industry really. Yeah. And because I'm so detail oriented and I know my stuff, he's learning so much. So I definitely think it has helped. Had I not gone after IT and like created the relationships I have with people, as well as furthered my knowledge, I think I would be in a much different place, and I wouldn't have as much knowledge as I do have now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I see with like a lot of your items, they are like super good quality, and I can tell that you do put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into the stitching. And so with your swimwear items, like what was the inspiration behind those, and like how do you make those swimsuits like durable and like good quality? Like what's like the thought behind that?
When selecting fabrics, for me, like I know that I like to have things for a long time. I'm not the type of girl who likes to spend $100 on a swimsuit and wear it 3, 4, 5 times, or just one summer. I like to have things for forever. Like I'm used to, looking in my mom's closet, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I bought this when I was 20," and I'm like, "What? They don't even make items like that anymore. Like, why is this dress so heavy? Like, I have never seen a dress so heavy, So for me, it's about longevity of an item, and that knowledge behind knowing what stitches are going to last. And also, I don't want my client to feel like they spend all this money and this piece is going to fall apart. Mm-hmm. Like, we work really hard for our money. I know I work hard for mine. I never want a client to be unhappy with something that I've produced or made for them. Because they work hard for their money.
You mentioned on your Instagram, we saw that you are a sewing instructor. We were wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
So I like to design, but I like to design with a purpose. And I think my purpose is not only to make people feel good about what they are wearing, but I think it's important, and it makes me feel good that I'm able to give my knowledge to others who don't have the ability to go to school possibly, or really pay for in sewing lessons that are so expensive. So I felt like it was necessary for me to teach people a trade, because I feel like that's another thing that's taken out of schools. Like, do they even have home economics anymore?
Mm-hmm. No, they don't.
Yeah, there's no home economics. I used to have home economics. I used to have wood shop. I used to have like all these like hands-on classes in high school, and they don't have those things anymore. And I think it's important for people, especially at times like this, where people need masks, and the government and we don't have the things that we need. Mm-hmm. And it was a pretty decent way for me to make a little bit of money while I don't have a job at this point right now. Mm-hmm. And no one's buying clothes really like right now. They're buying things that they need, like masks. Mm-hmm. And, nurses are asking me to make them the little, I forgot what they're called, but little head things to protect their hair in the hospital. Mm-hmm. I just think it's really important for people to know how to make things on their own, and have something that you can do with your hands that no one can take away from you. Mm-hmm. And also, like, I would love to start going into schools and teaching them how to sew, because I just think it's something that's you should know. Not that everyone should know how to sew, but if you want to learn how to do something with your hands, you should be able to do that.
For sure.
So that's really why I started giving lessons. And it's also a great way to meet other creatives. Like, I've met so many clients that have become friends at this point. And one in particular has told me how much confidence she has gained through sewing. I didn't know that was possible, but she has gained so much confidence just like stepping out and doing things that she wouldn't normally do. So the fact that I'm able to create a environment where she feels that way, that makes me feel amazing. And she like calls me all the time. She moved all the way to, I think, Texas. And she's like, oh, we have to do a virtual sewing class because I miss you so much. And I look forward to our sewing, lessons. So
it would be like a cool little surprise if we played a little game here. It's a fashion would you rather. It's like a rapid round where you're going to just be giving me your response to what I am saying. So I'm going to say, would you do this or would you do that?
Okay.
So are you down? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm always down for a game.
Okay. So the first one is rip your favorite jeans or rip your favorite shirt?
Shirt.
Shirt, okay. And then same outfit every day or no more neutrals in your closet?
Same outfit every day.
Same outfit every day? Okay. Have a fabulous shoe closet or have an incredible fashion closet?
Fashion closet.
Fashion closet, okay. Pants with boots or pants with heels?
Boots.
I totally agree. Okay. Fur boots on the hottest day of the year or flip-flops on the coldest day of the year?
Flip-flops because I put socks on.
Eating the system.
I love it. Okay. Futuristic clothing or throwback outfits?
Throwback.
I love it. I'm like 1970s, like all the way. Like I just own a ridiculous amount of bell bottoms. It's insane. Okay, so tearaway tracksuit or juicy couture tracksuit?
Tearaway.
I love it. Okay, have to sew with your non-dominant hand or never be able to put the thread in the needle the first time?
Oh, that's threading the needles the first time. Yeah, that's just like
Happens.
Be gifted a luxury bag of your choice or a luxury shoe of your choice?
Bag.
Same. Turtleneck or V-line sweater?
Turtleneck.
For sure. Bikini or one piece?
One piece right now.
Okay, would you go to the club in something that you slept in last night or go to the club in something that your parents picked out?
Something I wore last night. I always sleep in something cute.
I love it.
We were just talking about that question earlier because I said I'd rather have, if my mom was picking, I'd totally be down. But if my dad was picking, I'd have to wear what I wore last night for sure.
No, if my dad would be like, you are wearing a turtleneck and you are wearing pants that are loose fitting that like make you look like a box.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all the questions that we like really had for you today. Like, thank you so much for joining us. It's like literally been such a pleasure talking to you. You are such a fantastic person. I wish all the best for you and your brand because you are so inspiring and you have a message to send and like people need to hear it. And we're so excited to work with you in the future as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And then we'll be in contact with you about like follow-up and we'll be using your clothing in the shoot. So super exciting.
Yay!
All right, thank you so much.
You guys, thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.